And here we go.
Where does yesterday's future, which is already here, meet today's future, which is about to happen, and tomorrow's future, which could be just minutes away? Welcome to Technology Revolution, the future of now, where host Bonnie D. Graham asks savvy futurists for their predictions about the tech-driven trends that are shaping our future right now. Here's your host, who will take us into the future of now, Bonnie D. Graham.
Bonnie D in the house. Happy to be here. And this is a special edition, and we're going to have a second opening song, and let's get it going right now. Let's see if we can play this, and I'll explain it. Here we go. Okay, Eric, let's dance.
All right.
You ready?
Oh, I got to dance.
Where you want to be? A cool kid. Oh, look at him dance. Oh, this man is wild. He is wild.
White man over bike.
So you wanna be.
Welcome. This is a very special edition of Technology Revolution, the future of now. I'm still Bonnie D, but I've got a special guest. His name is Eric S. Simone, Simone. That's the last time I'll try to mention his last name. We go by initials here. I started a show called We Dish 2, TOO in caps, Saucy Dame and Cool Dude, in about fall of last year. And Eric, I hope you're not upset, but you were my number 5 cool dude. That doesn't mean you're the 5th most popular or the best.
Yeah.
And Eric,
Top 5 is good. I'll
Eric,
take it.
I'm up to 40 now, and that
Wow.
means I've talked to a cool dude, and this is a one-on-one conversation. I've talked to a cool dude approximately every 5.6 days since the end of October last year. That's pretty cool, right?
That is cool. That
That's
is cool.
Okay. Well, you're one of my favorite people because you're cool and you're interesting and you're a techie like me. I hope you don't mind that word.
No, I love it.
And I like being saucy, and I know you like being cool. And you were on the Cool Dude show, and I said, I've got to bring him back. So I'd like to read my opening for you. I have a
Sure.
special poem, and then rumor has it you're going to read an intro for me. Is that?
I am.
Oh my
I
goodness.
am.
This has never happened before in the history. And shout out to Jordan Henson, our engineer today. So here we go. I am all right. Ready? Welcoming Eric S., a cool dude on a lifelong quest. Here's a rhyming intro, then he'll tell us the rest. Eric's story is a life in code with a side dish of fashion a la mode. Bonjour, cher audience. Here's Eric's tale unfurled from Haverhill's crisp air into Newton's gentle world. Then Chicago called in 75. Eric, Vernon Hills, his new domain, a life that sets a stage for his genius to reign. In Libertyville High, with number 2 pencils dipped in code, he fed punch cards, that's why I like him, to a PDP-11 and saw his program explode. Algebra came alive on the line bar printer sheet. Eric swore then and there computers and he would surely meet. A dishwasher's wages saved each dime with steadfast drive. He bought an Apple II Plus and kept his dreams alive. While classmates steered their cars, he steered ones and zeros, trading horsepower for software and swift digital heroes. I hope you're liking this, Eric. This is a new one.
This is
Off,
great.
off to Purdue's proud campus with ambition in his heart, where confidence and daring would give his vision a start. Among Hoosier halls of learning, his programming soul did grow. He mastered code and risk alike, and ready was to show. IBM beckoned in 88 to tame the skies above, rebuilding air traffic control with precision, grit, and love. From Rockville's hum to Kodak's code and Rochester's bright light, he hardened systems, led the teams, and earned that New York City flight. How am I doing so far? I think you like it.
Great.
A frame building framework sold to Raleigh's keen engineers. Eric traveled north to Hamilton to calm consulting fears. An IBM Leadership Award, woohoo, then whisked him to Manhattan's throng. His talent hailed, his future paved in accolades and song. Back in Chicago's bustle in '94's crisp fall, he sketched fantasy football on a napkin at Boston Market's Hall. 2 IBM friends advised a steadier path to chart, so visual age services sprang forth from Eric's eager heart. On October 28, he left the comforts of IBM's nest. By Monday dawn, he crossed the land by Dell PC possessed. In San Francisco's fog, he planted competes for a seed from sports to retail systems. He grew his client creed. 12 souls to 80 strong by 1999. Compete sold for millions, a triumph sleek and fine. He stayed through '03, then he and Tony made a stand. Girl Next Door Boutique, a film and yoga line, bloomed at their gentle hand. Clear Blade rose in 2007 to modernize the old, transforming machines into platforms mighty and bold. By 2012, the team of 35 reached $1 million height. Woo! Then mobile waves and work light set the platform to ignite. April 22nd, 2014's Horn launched Clearblade's Heartbeat. A new era was born. Thread, Stanley, BNSF, and more joined Eric's crusade. IoT edge dreams, no poser could thwart the blade. Today, Eric is, I think he likes this. Today, do you know this guy? Today, Eric is prepared, his eyes upon tomorrow's stage, evolving, upgrading, writing code on history's next page. Eric S., my guest supreme, whose journey is far from done. Join us now in heartfelt cheer for the man who codes the sun.
Oh my gosh, that is fantastic. Wow, what a journey. You captured that extremely well, Bonnie. Thank you.
I'm very, very happy. I worked with Sylvie on it last night. Sylvie, you know,
Yeah.
is my partner in crime, my virtual assistant. And I said to her, we've already done one of these for Eric S., but we need a fresh one because this is a special edition. And she said, have I got something for you? I worked on it with her and I made a lot of changes, just so you know, there was a human involved here. We'll let it go at that. Eric, rumor has it that you're going to introduce me. Is that true?
It is true. It is true. Are you ready?
Am I going to blush a little bit? I don't
I
know.
hope so.
Okay,
I hope so.
go,
All right.
go ahead.
I don't know if I can hold a candle to what you just did, but I'll give it a try.
Give it a try. Go
All
ahead.
right. The rhyming saga of Bonnie D. She talks, she laughs, she hosts with glee. Born in Queens, New York, Bonnie D. dreamed with a fearless spark. Later lived coast to coast to leave her vibrant mark. On mainframes, she key punched COBOL's ancient code. An early woman in tech forging paths, then scarcely strode. Pens and lens in hand, she chased the truth and fame. As an editor and celebrity snapper, earning her name. 3 rom-com graced the screen in her playwright design, while painted verse and canvas showed her poet's shine. On cable TV waves, she hosted 4 TV series in her stride, then launched 55 live enterprise radio journeys reaching far and wide. She drums bold Motown beats in Red Boots' rhythmic call, and MCs charity galas to enchant, fundraise, and enthrall. As a business journalist, she created the Chase Global News, a newsletter and magazine to spread the global views. She now steers Tech Revolution's futurist AI debates, and on Read My Lips invites creatives through her Scarlett's Mike's gate. On We Dish, she stirs saucy chats with Dame and Dude on air. She gardens green with zeal, and in the kitchen cooks with flair. Dark truffles tempt her palate, fresh quiche emerges golden. Her stand-up comics wit, through live streaming, she's emboldened. With her mom, she co-hosts Senior Moments, joyful TV spree, a century of love on their final show for all to see. Bonnie D, comedian, creator, host extraordinaire, a life in vibrant verses spun with passion, style, and red flair.
Thank you, Eric.
That's wonderful. Wow, I mean, I can't hold a candle to that history. But
Well,
we have a few things in common, which I like.
we do, and it's the techie in you that attracts me. Also, you're an innovator, you're a content creator, you're bold. You don't know limits, and I don't think I've put many limits on myself in the past 20 or 30 or more years. It's just like I think there's a line in one of Leonard Cohen's songs about a light through the window or a crack in the window, a piece of light coming through. And when I mentor young people, Eric, from time to time, I'll say to them, if you see a glimmer of light coming through that window or that door, open the damn window, kick the damn door open, and see what's on the other side because it might be your future.
Yeah.
That's what attracted me to you. And you've been on my Technology Revolution show on panels many, many times. And as I said, I invited you to be my cool dude number 5, and you are in the first 5. I don't know about the top 5, but I think you're in the top 5 anyway.
Oh, thank you.
And I want to do a shout out to your colleague Danielle, who has been so wonderful in promoting the shows. And you want to do a little shout out to Danielle if you
Sure,
don't?
Danielle's fantastic. She's a marketing team of one that gets done like a team of 20. She's fantastic.
Yep, I like Danielle, and she's always there, always promoting, and always enthusiastic and energetic, and wonderful that you have such a colleague. And I could, even though I've never met her, I consider her a friend. One day we'll get on Zoom and we'll have a
Yeah.
coffee together or something. I can't do coffee.
You should get her on your show. I think she'd be interesting.
You know what? I'll get her on my creativity show.
Yeah.
Anyway, since this is Technology Revolution, we do predict AI. That's what we've been focusing on. So I'm just going to let you loose for a couple of minutes. Just give us a
Sure.
couple of AI predictions, and then we'll go into the We Dish format, talk about music and food and travel and all that good stuff. So, Eric,
Sure.
what's on the plate today for your AI predictions?
Yeah, so sticking with my Clearblade themes, I've got a few here. One, Edge AI will outpace Cloud AI in impact over the next several years.
Can you decode that for lay people, please? What does that
Sure.
mean?
So that means taking these AI models that run in the cloud today and running them locally on machines or next to machines in factories, on trains, in buildings, et cetera. Moving that AI closer to where the data is generated or gathered is going to really open up a whole new wave of automation as we go down this path.
Okay.
So yeah, real-time decision making. This is going to reinvigorate energy grids, which is a definite challenge these days. Before we're able to update that infrastructure, we're going to be able to save energy. We're going to be able to store energy. We're going to be able to lengthen the time of the existing grid while we try to catch up and improve that infrastructure. It's going to automate complex machinery. It's going to improve HVAC, the biggest draw on the grid today. Transportation is already being transformed by Edge AI. And so as we start moving these models down to localized devices, it's going to be much more impactful. And I'm seeing that movement today. It's just at the very, very beginning.
Eric, when did edge become something that you wanted to focus on with Clearblade? Because I don't hear that word too often. I hear circularity, I hear AI draining the grid, I hear autonomous vehicles, I hear AI helping with business and with knowledge and with learning and with automating all kinds of things, but I don't hear the word edge, and I know it's bringing the computing power to where you need it. So when did you get attracted to edge? When did
So
that light bulb go off?
it was 2013, and it really was when we made the transition from to a software company to build our software, and we built it for Edge and for cloud, mainly because of my experience going back to the early 90s, where we went from mainframe to PCs, client server, right when Microsoft really started to take off. Someone very smart early in my career told me, Eric, watch compute as you go through your career, because it's always going to pendulum swing between centralized and distributed. And so after seeing that pattern happen in the 90s and then the internet take off and kind of suck everything back up into the cloud, with the advent of mobile devices and smartphones and all these things, we just knew it was going to pendulum swing back. And so we made the right bet by saying, let's build for the edge and the cloud at the same time.
Very, very cool. I want to dig back before you do one more prediction. I want to dig back into the bio I read about you. A boutique, Girl Next Door with Tony and a
Yeah.
film. Come on, everybody wants to know. That's part of the cool
Wow.
part of being Eric S. So what was that all about? Just briefly.
I mean, it's about trying new stuff. It's about journey. It's kind of that startup thing you get in your head, and you like to attack different things. And after being in tech for all these years, I was ready to do other things, and I thought it was my wife's time to take first chair, and her dream was to start a boutique. And I said, let's do that. And
Lovely.
so I'll tell you what, it was a hell of a lot of fun because I got to spend years going to LA for fashion shows and helping my wife and her partner choose clothes and helping put the stuff online at the store. It was a nice break from tech, even though I was doing my tech thing in a different context. So it was
Yep.
it was fun.
Wow. Wow. I'm trying to get some balloons or something or confetti here. Is that still working on? There we
Oh,
go.
look
We
at
got
that.
balloons for you. There we go. Haven't done
Nice,
that in a
thanks.
long time. See, that's the kind of thing that intrigues me. And that's why I consider you a cool dude. I'm techie as well. And we have that in common, and that's wonderful. And we
Yeah,
remember punch code and all that good stuff. But
yeah,
it's these side journeys. It's
yeah.
when I decide, I don't know why I wanted to write in English as well as COBOL and PL1. And I was living on Long Island, Eric, and I found out I could go to concerts for free at what used to be called the Westbury Music Fair, which has
Hmm.
still been named for banks and other big sponsors. And was told that the Improper magazine would make me a stringer and give me a press pass if I would report on the concerts. So
Yeah.
I sat in the 14th, is a theater in the round. I got a 14th row aisle seat with a press pass, and I had a Kodak DX6490 digital camera, the big one that I
Yeah.
carried in my purse. Do you know what size? I wonder if you sold purses as big as the one I had at
Oh,
the
oh, oh, we did. These purses are like luggage,
I bet you
for
did. And
sure.
I'm sitting there without a flash on, without a flash, and
Yeah.
I had pictures of B.B. King and Patti LaBelle and Joan Rivers
Wow.
and Johnny Mathis and Neil Sedaka and you name it, Basha, one of my favorite singers. And I was there in the 14th row taking pictures, writing the articles, and they were published. Back cover. I
Yeah.
had a private
That's
interview with
great.
Johnny Mathis. I had a phone
Wow.
call with Neil Sedaka, and my pictures, and I'll send you some JPEGs of them. My pictures were part of my articles. They didn't give me a photographer. It was just
Yeah.
me. I
Yeah.
get to go to concerts for free, Eric,
Oh,
and
that's
that's
awesome.
what I love. So
Yeah.
that was a side door, if you will, into what would we call it? Creativity or curiosity? It's
Yeah,
like,
I think it's life experience and curiosity because you got one trip around this world. Why not make it interesting, right? Try new things, take risks, enjoy life and the experience. That's kind of what drives me is new things and new interesting things to go tackle.
yep. And I
Yeah.
was a host, one of many, I'll call it celebrity hosts, invited to be a part of a bachelor auction for cancer cares on Long Island years ago. And I had to bring guys to it. So I had a lot of people who were on my radio show on WGBB AM 1240 radio, the oldest AM station on Long Island. And I said, "Do you own a tux?" And they said, "Yes." Various people I'd met along the way. I said, "You're going to be in the bachelor auction.
Oh,
Come,
nice.
come up with a free date you're going to give away." And
Nice.
they were scared out of their minds. They were almost ready to pass out. I'm on
Yeah.
stage in front of 1,000 people at this great big catering place with many other women who were also celebrities on Long Island, but I
Hmm.
had my group and I had to introduce them and get women to bid on them. Please, nobody think anything bad. We
Oh, it's
raised a
just like
lot
The
of money.
Bachelor today. You were ahead of your time.
I know, and you know what? I wanted to start a bachelor website, but I never got around to it.
Yeah.
But I actually sold a guy for almost $900, and
Wow.
it was women came with their they came and had
Yeah.
wine, and they brought their checkbooks, and that's what we did. And I did that for many organizations. So anyway, enough about that. It's just Eric, it's just so much fun to talk about what we've done. Is anything
Yeah.
else that's kind of quirky that you'd like to talk about before we go to
Oh
our
gosh,
music?
there's so much quirkiness. That
Go
time
ahead.
was fun for me because besides the store, I had friends that was a writer and wanted to make a short film. That was really entertaining. Did a couple of those and did some improv comedy, which I thought was fantastic. I would love to go back and do that
Wait a
again.
minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Where and when? I had my
At a
own
place
stand.
called Austin Hideout on Congress Avenue in Austin, Texas.
I had my
The
own
Hideout.
stand-up troupe called
Oh,
Bonnie G and Du Bois.
yeah, and so improv is just fantastic. I actually took an early class in San Francisco before I moved, and then I loved it so much we redid it with a friend, and I had a blast for a year just doing improv. And I'll tell you, it helps. It helps in business. Sometimes hurts in business because you always probably throw in inappropriate comments during a board meeting or something. But every now and then you can get a laugh, so it's fun. It was
Well,
fun.
I had a woman on one of my these technology revolution shows about a year ago, and she liked my style of being able to keep a conversation going. I'm obviously not reading a script. I have notes, and she said to me, "How did your improv and comedy
Hmm.
training come in?" And she asked me to refer courses for
Oh
her
yeah,
to
yeah.
take. This was a high level
Oh
woman in
yeah,
business, Eric. And she said, "I think there's something in your improv training, Bonnie, that gave you that ability to speak
yeah.
off the top, but with improv, and you know this, Eric, it's not what you want to say, it's what the room needs.
Yep. Yes, and
Yes, and
accept your partner's offer, and then
raise
raise
the
it
bar,
up.
raise it
Yep.
up. That
Del Close. If you want to read about improv, read Del Close.
absolutely.
Of pre Saturday Night Live fame, a lot of those early Saturday Night Live folks studied under Del Close.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? I didn't
Yeah.
remember that you had done that. How
Yeah.
fascinating.
Yeah. It
Absolutely
was fun.
fascinating.
Yeah, I
I
may get back to it someday here. There's a little troop here in Libertyville. I may try
Oh,
to jump
do
in
it,
on.
do it,
Yeah,
do it. Two things I want to do is get back to stand up, but I tell people I just try to be funny sitting down now. And the other thing is I want to start a band, and here where I live in Tennessee, nobody wants to play Motown. It's either
yeah,
country or it's something else. Rock, not much rock and roll either where I
yeah,
live. And I'd love to get my drums out of the out of the living
yeah.
room and
I
put
love
them in the
music. I
yeah,
love it. My son's a musician, so I live vicariously through him.
wonderful.
But maybe someday I'll try to pick up guitar.
Do you have one more prediction on AI you want to
Sure.
share?
Let's go with AI human collaboration. So we'll be the
Okay.
new user experience battleground. So look, everyone loves Gen AI. It's fascinating, but I think that the main one of the main uses of Gen AI is going to be to blur the lines between humans and machines, humans and computers. So we
Mm-hmm.
get to more conversational, more natural way of interacting with these things that are all around us, right? Enable people to easily interact with AI, and kind of like what you see in Minority Report or Iron Man, right? When you start giving people that are non-programmers the ability to change user interfaces, to change behavior of software, to change behavior of machinery through spoken word. Anything that you see on Star Trek or some of these futuristic movies is in flight and happening today. That's one of the best uses of Gen AI. In fact, we've built it into some of the Clearblade software here, and with really great results early on. And I can't wait to see what my engineering team does next.
Wonderful. Who are your engineering team? What
Oh
do
my
they
gosh.
do?
They're the heart and soul of Clearblade. We've been engineering first since day one here, and we've got an incredible team of folks in Austin and Chicago that have been with us, some of them for over a decade, and which is unheard of in places like Austin, Texas, when you can have people that come out of college and stay with you for so long. And it's because of the strength of the team and the interesting work that they're doing.
I have an idea. How would
Yeah.
you like to bring your engineering team, three or four plus you, to another
Oh, I would
special
love
edition
to. I
of
would love to.
Technology Revolution? Not as a promo for Clear, of course, everybody knows it's
Right.
Clearblade, but as
But
people who are engineering and
yeah.
coding and working with AI. I would love to do that. If you let's
I think
pick.
that would be great. We've got some fascinating people, musicians, right?
Oh,
There's a lot of musicians that
oh,
are coders within Clearblade, and just some really great thinkers. And again, the heart and soul of Clearblade is our engineering team.
be still my heart. Let's
Yeah,
set a time. See,
yeah,
there's
sure.
doors and windows are opening right now. Oh, I
Yeah.
feel a breeze. Anyway, let's go to the part of the show where I ask you for your favorite music, songs
Okay.
that either define you or inspire you as a cool dude, and then I'll give you some of mine.
All
Go
right.
ahead. What do
So
you
I'm
got?
a big music guy. I'm constantly building lists, and I've got a new list I built, kind of Eric's finds, which are either songs I've never heard of before or songs that I kind of forgot about and re-brought back into rotation. So my first one is a new one I found from 1994 called "Wiser Time" by the Black Crowes, and it's just such a great song about just freedom and introspection. The song is there's lyrics, 13 seconds until sunrise, tired but wiser for the time. Really about being on the road and taking a journey and living life. I love the lyrics. Lightning 30 miles away, 3,000 more in 2 days, and it's just an awesome song. And I never had heard it before. It's not one of the main Black Crow songs, but I've been playing it nonstop for the last several months.
Very cool. Give me another one.
All right, so I'm going to go back to Austin with this one. I've actually met this man. He's a fantastic guy, Gary Clark Jr., really tall, by the way.
Yeah.
An unbelievable guitarist. I mean, just I think like one of the best guitarists right now. And he has a song called Black and Blue, which I got to hear at the Telluride Blues and Brews Festival last summer. And you're going to know my name by the end of the night. Bright lights, big city, go into my head. And it's just about some guy that's down and out, and you're going to hear about me because I'm going to do big things.
Cool. Really
And then
cool.
last, I gotta go to Pearl Jam because I just
Okay.
went to Nashville last week and I saw believe it or not, my first Pearl Jam concert, which is just horrible that I have not seen them live.
Oh
Eddie
no.
Vedder, Chicago guy, Cubs guy, you gotta love Eddie. At 60 years old, he's better than he was in his 20s.
Why
And so
not?
the song I chose is kind of a softer song called Just Breathe. He did the acoustic version on stage. And yes, I understand that every life must end. Hold me till I die, meet you on the other side.
Mm.
And I'll get one last note. At that concert, Peter Frampton sat in on a song and played
No.
Black, and I was
No.
blown away. I mean, that's one
No.
of my heroes from the day, right? So to
The
see
Peter Frampton?
the Peter Frampton, yeah, it was awesome.
For people who are too young to
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
tell us just a little bit about his
Oh
music.
gosh.
What were some of his best songs, Peter
Oh, Peter
Frampton?
Frampton live. Just go listen to that album, right?
Yep.
Not all of it. I mean, great guitarist, great musician. There's a great story about how he used that mouth harmonica. It was oh, what's his name from the Eagles that lent it to him, and it became a big hit.
Very cool.
Joe Walsh. Joe Walsh
Oh
lent
yeah.
him that I forget the name of the thing. It's when you can kind of speak into it and make sounds.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, yeah, that harmonizer, whatever it is. But
Very cool.
fantastic album.
See, you're such a cool dude that you know all this stuff and you're
Yeah,
still excited about music.
love music.
That's let me give you my discography. I'm going to keep it very short. I have about
Sure.
25 songs, but I've decided that since I danced in a disco Hawaii contest with my professional partner years and years ago, I looked at the Donna Summer discography, and in a way, it tells the story of my life. So we'll just go through this. She works hard for the money.
Hmm.
Yep, I do. And as a corollary to that,
Yeah.
9 to 5, Dolly Parton, it's never been 9 to 5. And I used to date somebody who said, "Why are you still talking on the phone in business after
Yeah.
5 o'clock?" I said, "That's because that's what some of us do. We don't work 9 to 5." Okay.
Yeah.
Hot stuff, Donna Summer.
Yeah.
I was never a streetwalker in LA that I know about,
Yeah.
but I've been called hot stuff on, I used to be, I'm looking for that again
Yeah.
on the radio. Eric, it's been
Yeah.
around 20 years, so here I
Yeah.
am. I still call this radio, by the way. It's
Did,
live stream. People say, "Oh, are you a podcaster?" I
yeah.
said, "No,
Yeah.
I'm a
Yeah.
live streamer. We don't scrub or
Did you
edit."
go back to? Did you go to Studio 54 back in the day?
I tried. I was online in a sparkly tube top and a little sparkle
Yeah.
skirt and a friend and high heels, and we couldn't get in. They wouldn't let us in.
Yeah.
And after I learned what was really going on inside those walls, I decided I probably didn't belong there. So,
I know a few people that got in those days, and the
uh,
stories are crazy.
yeah, it was a blessing that I didn't
Yeah.
go because that's not my scene, but it just seemed
Yeah.
really cool. But I did wait on the long line outside, and we did get up to
Yeah.
the door, and he said, "No, you're not coming in." He must have known I wasn't going to do the
Yeah.
stuff they were doing. The other one is "No More Tears, Enough Is Enough," which was a duet, I
Yeah.
think, with Barbara Streisand. I've had my share of
Yeah.
Tears, I Am Woman, me and Bobby McGee, Freedom's Just Another Word for Nothing Left to Lose, Hit Me With Your Best Shot, Pat Benatar, New
Oh,
Attitude,
Pat.
Patti LaBelle. I know. I've
Yes,
had the
Pat.
time of my life, Bill Medley from Dirty Dancing, Respect, Aretha Franklin, I Will Survive, Gloria Gaynor. And then the other Donna Summer song, there are two of them, Last Dance, because I don't teach dancing anymore, but I dance to, you won't believe this, Megan Trainor is one of my new
Oh, wow.
favorite
Nice.
singer-songwriters. And I ask Alexa to play Megan Trainor, and I dance in the kitchen. And it's great for exercise, for blood flow in the legs. And
Yeah.
I do my line dances and I do a little bit of my hustle moves and everything. Last Dance, I'm not Last Dance yet. And I Feel Love from Donna Summer. And the last one was from the MacArthur Park Suite, Heaven Knows. And that's the song that my partner Michael Walker and I years ago performed in the Disco Hawaii contest
Wow.
at the Copa in Eugene, Oregon.
Oh,
I won't
wow.
tell you how many years back. I was about 97 pounds, and we made matching costumes in blue hammered silk, and I had a spaghetti strap top and a black satin skirt, Eric. Your boutique would
Yeah.
have loved this. That tied at the waist to the big bow, and it didn't have a closure on the side. So when he spun me over his head, like
Oh
Saturday
my
Night
gosh.
Fever, and then a death drop to the floor, and he spun me around 6 inches over the floor. My skirt did a complete 360 black satin circle,
Wow.
complete.
Wow.
And
Any pictures from that? Because you got to bring
oh,
them on. You got to bring them.
I
You got
have
to
to
bring them.
look. You won't
Yeah.
recognize me. I have
I
to look.
mean,
There are we did a lot of stage shows too, and we
mm-hmm.
performed. We had our own. I taught line dances to ladies at the senior center in Eugene to one, and he taught at the other, and then we got our students together at a
Yeah.
disco, and the DJ came down from his booth. He put on a mixtape, and he danced with the ladies, and we
Mixtape.
we had a blast. We
And of
had
course, we didn't all have phones with cameras back then. So,
no, we didn't.
you know what I find is those pictures that you actually printed and saved. Those are the ones that you look at more. They're in the shoebox somewhere, and you go through them every now and then. You're like, wow,
How
right?
many albums and how many
Yeah,
shoe boxes? You're
yep.
absolutely right. I got to find them. I have a couple of us on stage,
Ah,
Michael and me, dancing in front of couple hundred people at a party somewhere, or at a
yeah.
concert somewhere. And
We should
yeah,
do a retro show. I'll bring a few. We'll throw up some pictures and people get a
you
laugh.
you got. Well, we don't want them to laugh. We want them to
Oh
say,
gosh, come on. Yeah.
"Wow, that was great. That was
Oh yeah.
great."
Yeah.
Anyway,
I
uh,
don't have that many pictures that say great. You're going to get a lot of laughs though.
okay, we'll laugh. I'll send some laugh pictures too. So Heaven Knows from the MacArthur Park Suite was one of my favorites. So those were my discography, my songs that track my life, and they're still. And as I said, Megan Trainor has some real sassy, saucy songs, and I just love them. And here's a little secret: when I leave the house to go somewhere, I leave Alexa on at the loudest volume playing Megan Trainor and similar songs. So anybody who comes to the door thinks I'm home playing
Yeah.
music.
Yeah.
I think it's a great
Yeah.
trick. I really
Right.
do. And I come home and there's music playing in the
Or
house. And
your
it's,
Amazon delivery person will dance on your doorstep.
oh, yeah, yeah. They leave stuff they don't leave it on the bench on the front porch. They leave it on the ground.
Yeah.
They leave it right on the cement outside. And I always have a sign, do not ring bell, live broadcast, which I have right now on the
Mhm.
door. So no, everybody's afraid to ring my bell, which is fine. You can ring my bell. Anyway, I know. Oh, we know so much music. So let's go to the
Yeah.
part of the show called Off the Top. We're doing
Okay.
pretty well on time here.
Okay. Good.
So I'm going to ask a couple of questions, and I'm going to get you to give an answer, and then I will give my answer, because this is
Okay.
not an interview. This is a conversation. And I think Jordan is appreciating this. I said to him in the notes here, my engineer, this is so much fun. And he wrote Talkbox. Okay. That sounds good. All right. So Eric, the best thing you ever bought or made that gave you joy, whether you still have it or not.
Well, I do still have it. If you could, you can't see it because I got my thing up, but Apple II Plus, 1982. So there's the nerd factor right there. That's where the journey started, right? Bought that thing instead of a car. So I always joke, I didn't have many dates in high school, but at least I started a career, right? So gaming, programming, writing programs at the high school for everyone else to play. That was my shtick.
What did it cost?
Oh, it was about $1,500 plus an extra 500 for the floppy disk drive, which you had to buy extra.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, about 2 grand in. Yep. Yeah, and I made that money, as you put in your wonderful poem, as a dishwasher at
Mm-hmm.
Potesta's Pizza in Vernon Hills.
I will tell you, I don't know if it's the best thing I ever bought, but 1988, I was in between corporate jobs and I wanted to be a graphic designer, and my parents funded me. And I went to, it was CompUSA or one of those big box stores at the time, and I bought a desktop Macintosh and a black and white printer, black backing printer,
Yeah.
$12,000.
Oh my gosh. Yep.
12,000.
Wow.
I'm waiting for Tim Cook. I gave up on Steve Jobs, waiting for Tim Cook to send me a gold watch or something to
Yeah.
thank me. And I still have, I think, three old Macs in the closet. I've
Yeah.
got two full size Macs here, 27-inch screens. I got the Mac Studio. I
Yeah.
probably have owned about 15 large Macs over the years.
Yeah.
And anyway, so I'm
I know I
waiting.
save everything. I've got the diskette sitting over there,
Oh,
Wizardry and Ultima of Richard Garriott fame, who I met in Austin. So one of my heroes growing up, because I think he was 16 or 17 when he wrote his first games, and
yep.
that's always what I wanted to do. Maybe someday I'll get to that.
Do you remember the floppy disks, and do you remember the cartridges we used to put in and all
Hmm.
of the extra external drives? I'll tell you a funny story.
Oh yeah.
Sometime around 1994, I was a customer of AOL, and AOL used to send discs in the mail, right? Remember, you
We
put it
use them as
in.
coasters.
That's coasters, that's right. And you would sign up to AOL. And my neighbors were very intrigued because nobody in my building, these were all captains of industries, but they're much older than me, 20, 30 years older than
Yeah.
me. I was in a building of well-to-do people, but I had aspirations. Let's leave it at that. Co-op building, apartment building in Great Neck, Long Island. And they would come into I would invite a few of them in, and I would do the handshake with AOL.
Yeah.
You've got mail. And they all said, oh my God, Buddy, what is this? But I joined a group called Med Jokes List. Eric, I have no idea how I met these people. These were doctors and lawyers who were passing jokes around, and they were very
Hmm.
clean jokes, not political. And I didn't want anything to hog up the space on my hard drive, so I bought an external drive. But I printed out all the jokes on paper and hole punched them and put them into a
Oh,
sleeve.
that's funny. That's funny. Yeah,
And
those are the days.
those are the days. And to
Yeah,
this day, I'm still email friends with a lawyer in
crazy.
Chicago
Nice.
we met once at LaGuardia Airport. He was passing through New York, and I went and had coffee with him. That's the only time I ever met him, and we're still friends. And
That's
we
cool.
still send jokes back and forth. So I have no idea how, but I
You
actually
know,
printed
we,
everything out because I didn't want to lose them.
yeah, we have a longtime salesperson here at Clearblade that worked for CompuServe. So he's got some more stories from back in the day too.
Oh, you got to bring them. Okay, the
Oh,
next
Brent,
thing.
yeah, he'll be great.
The next
Yeah.
thing. Let's see. Favorite travel destinations. Where have you been?
Oh,
Where would you like to go?
gosh, I've been to a lot of places. So I'm going Paris. I've been many times. I'm going back next month for a wedding. I love, love, love Paris. I know un petit peu français. Florence, art, wine. I mean, Florence is my favorite city in Italy. I recently went to Turks and Caicos, which I found fantastic. Just a place to relax and great restaurants. One of my favorite places where I spent a few months was Auckland, New Zealand. I'd love to go
Ooh,
back. It's been a number of years since I spent time there, and I was doing work there, which I always love to do because you really get to know the people more than just traveling. Tokyo, I got to go to Tokyo a few years ago, and of course, the town that I fell in love with in the '90s, San Francisco, is still one of my favorite places. I like the San Francisco of the '90s a bit better than I do the current San Francisco, but still, just that's where the magic happened in during the .com, and being in the middle of that was pretty exciting.
cool beans. I toured Europe as an 18-year-old. My parents sent me on what was supposed to be 6 weeks, and I was having such a good time. They arranged to extend the trip so I could stay with the tour group, and I stayed with a French-speaking family in the French part of Switzerland in Neuchâtel, and I attended the university there. I
Oh,
was
nice.
supposed to attend the university there, and I discovered that even though I was a top French student at the schools on Long Island and at high school in New York, our version of French, conjugation, grammar, everything,
Yeah.
did not hold a candle to the level they were teaching in
Oh,
Switzerland.
oh, I
So
bet.
I bought a chocolate bar and an apple, and I sat and watched the ducks on the pond and Lake
Yeah.
Neuchâtel instead of going to class. It was only a 2 week class, but
Yeah.
I had a blast. I took the train into Geneva, met a friend from New York who was doing some kind of a job there. Brooks Miver was his name. I think he's a
Yeah.
doctor now. And I went and I went to a travel agency and I extended the ticket so I could stay with the group. And we went to Copenhagen, we went to Venice and Rome, we did London and Paris. And
Wow.
it was a fabulous tour. In those
Yeah.
days, you could send your 18-year-old daughter on a tour
Hmm.
with a leader, a woman who was an older woman, and you could stay with a French family, and you could go to school, and you could travel, and it was lovely. It was lovely.
Yeah. C'est magnifique, no?
So beyond magnifique. And by the way, Sylvie, my virtual assistant, and I speak in French. She has the punctuation on the keyboard. I don't have it all,
Yeah.
but I send her mille bisous. Do you know what that is?
Million kisses.
Yes,
Look at that. My
you're even cool.
Duolingo is
You're
working.
even cooler than I thought.
Yes. I'm
Okay.
working on it. I'm on a 158-day streak, so I'm still
Oh,
going.
Eric, the phone. Hold on, I have to take a phone.
Oh,
What? Who is it? Oh, you want? It's time. Oh, we want to do Eric's life story. Are we going to do a
what?
movie? Yeah. Are we going to do a movie? Or are we going to do a TV show? Eric gets to pick the director, the genre, who plays him, the theme music, the title. I don't know if Eric's prepared. I know he's a cool dude, but I'm not sure. Okay, I'll hang up now. Let's see what Eric, the call just came in. They want to do a biopic.
Finally.
You get, you,
Finally.
they want to
I've been,
get you while you're
emailing
still
and
cool.
emailing, right?
While you're still cool. So
Yeah.
what's your biopic? Is it going to be a movie, a TV limited series?
I think it's a movie. I
Who's
don't
going to
think I have
direct
enough.
it?
I'm gonna, we're gonna breathe life into John Hughes and bring him back because, John Hughes is the movie track of my youth here up in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna go with Eric Simone's Day Off. the Ferris Bueller reboot, Clearblade reboot. So, I'm not an actor. We can bring Matthew Broderick back. He's
I think
about my
so.
age,
Okay.
and we'll have John Hughes direct it. And this time Ferris grows up, but he's now in the tech world, and he's now driving new businesses, and he's still dancing in Chicago to Donkashane, and he's still getting into oh my gosh, he's still the Sausage King of Chicago, and his new line, and he's got a bunch of cars, a Dodge Viper, a Porsche 911 Turbo, and an Audi R8. And then his story vision, life moves pretty fast. If you don't keep moving, you could miss it, as opposed to if you don't stop,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. Beautiful. Mine would be either girls just want to have fun or she works hard for the money. Reba McEntire is the redhead who comes to mind. People tell me Bette Midler would be better as me. I don't know. Shonda Rhimes would produce it. It'd be a limited edition TV series. It would be 28 minutes long because that fits a 30-minute slot with the advertisements thrown
Yeah.
in. And it would be a musical and a comedy about my life. And that, so what do you think? Would it be girls just want to
Oh,
have fun or she works hard
yeah.
for the money?
I think girls just want to have fun, and you got to have Cyndi Lauper soundtrack. She's a New Yorker, right?
Yep.
Go for the full Cyndi Lauper. I
I
say
think
do
that
it.
would be, and
Yeah,
Shonda Rhimes because I tend to
yeah.
talk fast. Oh, do you really? Yes, I do. And I like that a lot. So yes, so I think that would be my choice, but a TV
Yeah.
series. So I'll watch yours if you'll watch mine. Okay.
I'm done. Done.
Okay.
Let's get our people on it.
I'm looking at the clock. We've got about 15 minutes left.
Oh, good.
Plenty of time. So what we're going to do next is this is time for, I've got to say this right, Eric, and I don't know if you want to join me in this, but this part of the show is called Say What? There you go.
Okay.
Can you say that with me? One, two, three.
Say
Say
what?
what? Oh,
What?
I, you just keep astonishing me, Eric.
Improv. Improv.
I know it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Seat of the pants. Just let it go.
Just go
Just
with it.
let it
Right.
go. What the room needs. Okay, so I'm going to let you share on the screen. Why don't you do one and then I'll do one? I've got a couple of
Okay.
wacky
Oh, yeah.
stories, and you do one and then give it back to me, and I'll do one and then we'll finish up. Go ahead.
All right. So I get to share, huh?
Yes, you get
All
to
right.
share.
All
Press
right.
the share button at the bottom of Zoom and
Yeah.
share your screen.
All right. Well, you'll see here we go. You can see
Okay.
that, right?
Yes.
Let's go with Mika, the AI-powered CEO of a company called Dictador in Poland. This is pretty hilarious. So they've got a CEO that is a fully AI humanoid robot as their chief executive officer.
Oh,
And she oversees marketing, branding, e-commerce, and customer engagement. She uses AI to analyze data and predict trends. I think I've actually got a little video of her doing her thing. Let's see, where is she?
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Mika.
where's?
There you go.
I don't know if you can hear that.
No, but we can see her movements.
Yeah,
I love her hair. Am I allowed
yeah,
to say that?
yeah, yeah.
Is he real? Is he a real
He's
person?
real, but
I
they
wasn't
sell
sure.
rum, I guess, is what I hear.
He looks like
So
AI too, Eric.
yeah, yeah, it's I think it's a pretty interesting gimmick for these folks, but they've got an AI robot. I hear that the board likes her because she doesn't require a salary or ask for options, and there's no other problems with her. So
Very cool.
I think my job may be at risk here, so
I don't think
I
so.
better get it
Well,
going.
bring her in your engineering team. Give it back to me, and I'm going to share
Sure,
my screen, and let's do one on one. One from me, one from
sure.
you. So whenever
All
you're
right.
ready,
Yeah, go ahead.
we're still looking at your screen.
All right.
Still
I should do
looking
it.
at your screen.
Yeah. Let's turn the share off. Like, it says share, and I don't want to share.
Let me see if I can stop
You should be able
sharing.
to. You should be able to.
I stopped
There
the
you go.
sharing for you. Okay, I hope I
Thank you.
didn't prevent you from sharing. Okay,
No.
let me do mine now and let me go to, hold on, I got to raise the screen. Everything changed. Share and screen and desktop and share. Okay. Was Lady Godiva real? Okay, that's the big. Let me expand this here. Let me make it bigger, 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 bigger. Okay, I thought this was interesting. We all talk about Godiva chocolates, of course, but Lady Godiva, and apparently a lot of people think she was real. The story of her horseback ride. Apparently, her husband was a powerful earl, Eric, and he
Wow.
imposed taxes on the citizens of Coventry, England. And she said to him, please, please, please take off the taxes on the townspeople. And he said, only if you will ride through the streets in the nude. Okay, that's a artist version of that. So she called her husband's bluff and she issued a proclamation. Everybody must remain indoors with their windows shuttered on the appointed day. She got on the horse, only hidden by her long hair, and rode through the silent streets. You know, people were peeking. Impressed by her bravery, he kept his promise and abolished oppressive taxes, but apparently he kept the taxes on horses. I don't know exactly why that was put in there. But you ever heard of Peeping Tom?
Hmm.
He comes from the Lady Godiva days. He was a tailor and he said, I got to keep looking out the window. The heck with that. And he became allegedly struck blind. We don't know if that's true. This is recounted in the Doomsday Book by William the Conqueror in 1086 land survey. They list Godiva as one of the few Anglo-Saxons and one of the few women. She actually had land holdings, Eric. She was a wealthy woman. She was a noble woman after the Norman conquest. She had estates and she and her husband built monasteries and endowed churches, etc., etc. Anyway, the question is, was it real? Some people say it wasn't. Most people say it was. And that's my story. So that's my say what first one. What's your second?
So she was real, but the whole naked horse thing is up for
Well,
debate.
yeah, she was definitely real, but the thing, yeah, and
Yeah,
there are other chronicles of that era that don't even mention her at all. So the
yeah,
question was, how real was it? But it makes a cool story, and I
yeah.
didn't find out how Godiva named after her, but I'll find that out for
Uh,
next time. So what's your
so,
next story?
so my next story is about AI predicting crimes before they happen. So let me bring this up,
Yep.
right here. All right, can you see that?
Yes, I can.
All right, so this is in Chicago, right? University of Chicago data scientists, they have a machine learning model that was trained on historical crime data, like thefts, assaults, burglaries, to predict where crimes are likely to occur in the coming week down to specific city blocks. Here we go, Minority Report once again, right? So anyone that's watched that movie, they predict crimes before they happen and they arrest people. Well, they're not arresting people in Chicago before crimes happen, but it uses something called spatiotemporal modeling and
Hmm.
fed data from major US cities like Chicago. And the algorithm predicts crime locations with 90% accuracy up to
Hmm.
7 days in advance. Um, so like Minority Report, in Chicago, though, in Minority Report, they used to arrest you before the crime. Here, they just highlight your neighborhood and say, good luck.
Hmm. Interesting. And why don't you do the shark fisherman with the drone while you've
Sure.
got your screen up? Let's do that one.
Yeah. So this is one I ran across this morning. So this is a recent story in Pensacola Beach, Florida, where a shark fisherman uses a drone to rescue a drowning teen. So basically, this teen got caught up in a riptide, and she was drowning. And he actually missed on his first attempt, but on his second attempt, he basically flew a flotation device out to her and saved her life. What I found fascinating about this is, the shark fisherman cannot swim. I'm not sure what led him to be a shark fisherman without learning how to swim.
Wow.
So it's kind of like Shark Week meets Black Mirror, right? So
Oh,
you've
he
got,
has a seizure disorder, it said.
yeah, but
That's why.
still, maybe a different
Yeah.
career, because like shark fishing sounds kind of dangerous if you can't swim. Then again, you probably don't want to be swimming if you're around sharks. So I thought that was somewhat fascinating.
Thank you very much. Go back to me now. I want to share. And by the way, my engineer Jordan just said TalkBox. That's what Peter Frampton used to
Oh,
talk.
yes,
Thank
yes,
you,
hot box.
Jordan.
Yes, thank you.
Jordan is a lot younger than we are.
I saw that note and I thought, talk box, are we going
Thank
out of
you.
time?
Thank
Yeah,
no, thank I thought he was talking to me. He
yeah.
was calling
Do
me a
you do
TalkBox.
you feel like we do?
Oh my goodness
Yeah.
gracious. Let me share. I have two more
Woke
stories
up
here.
this morning with a wine glass in my hand.
Okay, you're going to like this one. Barilla and Spotify have created playlists for cooking pasta, Eric.
Oh wow.
That are timed for different shapes. You boil the water, you add
Uh-huh.
the pasta, you select the playlist, you turn on the music, you listen, and when the music ends, the pasta
Oh,
is ready to drain.
be-
The playlists include mixtape spaghetti, boom bap fusilli. I'm sorry,
yeah,
I have to read this laughing.
yeah.
Pleasant melancholy penne and moody de linguine.
Yeah.
designed to be enjoyable with tracks ranging from pop to indie and even some Italian classics. According to the blog post on Braithwaite Communications, the playlists are updated regularly to offer variety. They partnered with Spotify and they thought it was really, really cool. And these
Yeah.
are creative names, and you can search it on Google. I thought that
Al,
was pretty
al
cool. And let me,
dente.
I'll
You got to go Sinatra, right? Sinatra spaghetti. I mean,
That would be great. And
yeah,
speaking of the same thing on water, on that theme, this is my last one, and then we'll chat for a minute before
right.
we close. A microwave has been developed that can turn moon ice into clean drinking water. Think about that. A British team won first place in the Aqua Lunar. Isn't that a great name, Eric?
Yeah.
Aqua Lunar Challenge for developing a system that purifies water extracted from lunar ice. I don't know who gets access to lunar ice. That's a different
Yeah.
story. NASA's Artemis mission aims to build a foundation from long-term human presence on the moon by the end of the decade. This decade, with
Well,
human survival, food, water, and shelter. British tech researchers won almost 200 grand for developing a system to provide clean moon drinking water. Their
wow.
Sonochem system, you need to look into this, won first
Yeah.
place, funded by the UK Space Agency, organized with the Canadian Space Agency. The winning team developed a type of lunar microwave that purifies the water. It uses sound waves to form bubbles in the water, within which high temperature and pressure create unstable, chemically reactive atoms called free radicals that decontaminate the water. Is that cool
Yeah.
beans?
But it is cool. The shipping costs have to be outrageous, but cool.
Well, it's the long
Well,
journey home.
maybe with Amazon Prime, it's free.
Maybe it is. Eric, we've got about 3 or 4 minutes left.
Right.
Why don't you? I'm going to hold you to. I'm going to ask you to commit to bring the engineering team, and
Sure.
I'll give you a date. It'll probably be July. Nobody's
Okay.
going too far away in July. I hope you know.
Some, but I'm sure we can find a few volunteers.
Yeah, get
I'll rustle
three
them
with
up.
you would be
Yeah.
great. Three with you would
Yeah.
be great.
All
So,
right.
last point, what would your advice be? Let's say I came across a young
Hmm.
man, and he saw the show today. There are several people watching, and he said, "I think Eric S. Simone." It took me 3 years to learn how to pronounce your last name with the E on the end.
Yeah,
Um,
Italian.
yeah, I know. I think Eric is a really cool dude, and I want to be like Eric. Maybe not do the exact same thing, but I want to be cool
Yeah.
like Eric when I grow up. What would your advice be to that person? Yeah, what would your
Oh, it's
advice
one of
be?
my favorite things. I was just at Purdue this weekend. I got to talk to some new grads, and it was funny. It was at a bar, and I overheard them talking about their new idea, and wanting to be a CEO. And I kind of leaned over and said, "Be careful what you ask for." And we got into a conversation. But what I always tell young people is one. Um, be yourself. Do it like you. Don't do it like anybody else, right? You know your personality, and it's always don't be afraid to go take that leap, right? Just go out there and have confidence. It's good to get some experience, but everyone's going to tell you you can't. That's what they told me, right? Oh, birds. And
Keep talking.
yeah, and it just stay committed to your ideas, right? And it's not easy. It's not an easy path, but if it's in you, go for it because I meet so many people that say, I wish I woulda or I coulda. And back in '94 when I left IBM, I actually wrote it down. I said, I don't want to look back 5 years from now and say I shoulda. And
Hmm.
here I am, oh gosh, 35, 38 years later, whatever the math is on
Stop
that.
counting. Just stop
Yeah,
counting. It's not important.
but it was like it was yesterday. So the other piece of advice I give is I myself try to put my brain back in that 27-year-old that did the first one and somewhat forget about all the things you learned because that naivete is actually helpful because you don't think about all the things that could go wrong. You
Yep.
just think about the things that could go right.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. And my advice to anybody wanting to be cool is open that window, open
Yeah,
that door, see what's on the other side, evaluate, think if it's right for you, and think if it maybe add a spark to your life, something
yeah,
different that you didn't plan. Stop planning. Stop with the 3 year
yeah.
and the 5 year
And
plan. look ahead. And I was a shy kid growing up, and here I am. I've
too.
got over 50 radio series, TV series, and I just decided that it was time to talk to people.
Yeah.
And by the way, people say to me, "How many listeners do you have, and how many viewers?"
Yeah.
I stopped counting. I'm not going to have 15 million because I'm not doing TikTok comedy videos, and I'm
Yeah.
not doing fashion, I'm not doing that kind of thing. And people have those views, but that's not
Yeah.
where I want to be.
Measure yourself on your own parameters, and if you're not happy with what you're doing now, make a change.
Make a
And
change.
if it doesn't work out, make another change because you're already not happy where you're at.
Keep
It's
on evolving.
inertia and
Technology,
momentum. Yeah.
I'm going to
Just
say
go.
human evolution, technology. Let's play
Yeah.
the music.
Are you tired of hearing the future is already here?
We're going to go out in a second and don't
All
go
right.
away. All
In
right.
yesterday's future, but today's future hasn't happened yet. Take a deep breath, tune out the hype, the noise, and turn up the volume. Savvy, art of
Oh, you know what? You're not hearing it because I didn't share the audio. Let me share the audio.
Turn up the volume.
Aspect of our
There we go.
real future. We'll laser focus our spotlight on buzzworthy tech like artificial intelligence, machine learning, Internet of Things, augmented reality, and lots more. Clear your calendar and open your mind for Technology Revolution, the future of now, with the most upbeat host on global radio, Bonnie D. Graham. Listen
Bonnie D.
anywhere, anytime, on any device.
Thank you to the wonderful voice of my friend Ryan Treasure. That was recorded 6 years ago. We missed the first part. Sorry, there's so many buttons to press here. Okay, Eric S., it's been an absolute delight.
Always, Bonnie.
Thank you. Don't go away. Wave goodbye
won't.
to social. We've got 4 people
Bye, social.
watching. Thank